Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about a show that I have not talked about yet on here, and that's The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I don't remember how long it's been since the first season. I think it's been like maybe a year or two, but when that first season came out, I feel like it was right on the heels of one of the best seasons of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and I feel like it really capitalized on the attention that that show was getting. And it's so funny to see that Mormons are really having a moment in pop culture, particularly in the reality TV space, because then after Secret Lives of Mormon Wives became really successful, they released that show that's like selling Sunset, but it's like selling Salt Lake City. It's basically just another like real estate show, except it's about Salt Lake City and it's very Mormon heavy. I actually haven't seen that one yet, so if you have, let me know if it's worth a watch. I'm not super into those real estate shows. I pretty much only watch Selling Sunset. But yes, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is back for season 2. I am so excited to dive into this. So far, I've only seen the premiere, but I'm going to talk about the premiere first. That's going to be this video. And then because they did batch releases of the season, maybe I'll start talking about like the episodes in groups of 2 or 3. But without any more preamble, let's dive into the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives season 2 premiere. First of all, right off the bat, this premiere is almost a full hour. I was like kind of dreading it when I opened the episode. I don't think that reality TV shows should really be longer than like 45 minutes, but I will say I do think this premiere really delivered, and I do think the hour completely flew by. I did watch the previews of this season and then also like the previously on that aired kind of in the beginning of this episode, and I realized that I forgot every single one of these women's names, and so many of them look exactly alike to me, particularly like Demi, and I think Taylor is the other one where they look exactly the same to me. It's very hard for me to tell them apart. But I did my best, and I'm like 99% sure that all of the names I have written down here are accurate. So we're catching up with all of the women, and we're catching up with how this current state of mom talk, the state of the union. Michaela says that she makes her husband's entire yearly salary in one brand deal, so he's a stay-at-home dad now. First of all, I better get on my Zoom and start churning out more of these YouTube videos so that can be me. But second of all, I think given that like Michaela is one of the like Mormon ones, like the actual Mormon ones, I have a feeling that even though her husband is a stay-at-home dad now, he probably still expects her to do most of the housework and child rearing. Like I'm 100% sure that like he calls himself a stay-at-home dad, but if the kitchen's dirty, he's like, hey Michaela, the kitchen's a little dirty. You're probably gonna want to do something about that. Oh yeah, and our kid, his bath time is like in 30 minutes, so you might want to get on that too. And he's like on the couch watching sports. So they're at an influencer event for some, I guess like a pillow brand made by a woman named Gracie. But then also the theme of this event is like cowboy. So everybody's dressed up in cowboy stuff, but it's an event for like throw pillows. So they're all there just kind of like catching up. Then Whitney shows up and she comes in later than everyone else, and it immediately gets really awkward. If you don't remember, Whitney was kind of like the villain of last season, and the way that last season ended was she just left Mom Talk and she left their group chat.
Whitney was deemed kind of the villain, and she earned every bit of that title. She didn't attend Taylor's baby shower or Macy's baby mama event. She has unfollowed us, blocked us, ignored us. She has upset every single person in the group.
So Demi says that Whitney alienated everyone in the group and she didn't go to any of their events. She basically just went no contact with all of them. And Whitney in the confessional says that she regrets nothing. I'm gonna be honest, I don't hate Whitney. I don't hate her more than I dislike any of these other women. I think all of them are a little bit insufferable and like delusional. I mean, they're Mormons. It's like they're all like kind of living in their own fantasy land. So like, I don't really hate Whitney. I don't consider her a true villain. I just look at her at like, oh, this is the one that all of the other women hate. Then we have a new character. We have a new mom on the scene. Her name is Miranda. Immediately I'm looking at her and I'm like, she's so hot. I don't know if you know this about about Mormonism, I follow this Mormon creator on TikTok. Her name is Alyssa Grenfell, and she's an ex-Mormon. And she made a video like a while ago that I watched about Mormons and perfectionism. And I guess one of the central tenets of Mormonism is seeking perfection as a human. Like, Mormonism does believe that a human can be perfect, and that includes your looks. So that's why so many Mormon women have like the hair extensions and Botox, and they get plastic surgery. It's because it's all in the pursuit of being a perfect human, which is something that is encouraged in Mormonism. So yeah, just a thought, but that just when I looked at Miranda and I was like, oh my God, she's so hot. I was like, honestly, like all of these Mormon women are really hot because it's like a religious belief that they have to be hot in a way. So Miranda is Taylor's ex-best friend, and she's one of the original mom talkers from when Taylor started the group. And apparently Miranda and her husband were one of the couples who were caught up in the swinging scandal. And after she left Mom Talk, and I think she moved out of Utah or like Salt Lake City, she just like completely moved away, and they all lost contact with her for like 3 years. But she's back in Utah now because her and her husband have since gotten divorced. It is so crazy that like these women are all like in their mid-20s at the oldest. I think like maybe 1 or 2 of them are early 30s, but most of them are like early to mid-20s, and they already have like multiple children. Some of them have divorces under their belt. It's like crazy. Like when I think about Salt Lake City or Utah as a whole, I'm like, God, like it's such a different world compared to like LA or most of the other big cities. It's just like crazy to think that this like 26-year-old woman has a divorce under her belt and like 3 kids. So Miranda says that she's the one who initiated the divorce. She basically just said that she felt like her kids would be better off if they cut ties. It just sounds like her and her husband were fighting a lot, basically. And then Demi asks her straight up if she was involved in the swinging.
Well, the thing is like the height of what I was ever involved in was like playing spin the bottle and like kissing other people. And so it was very jarring for me for Taylor to come out and say like everyone was hooking up with everyone, because that was simply not the case at all.
We've all heard the exact opposite. I'm so confused.
No one had sex ever, period.
So Miranda claims that Taylor lied when she said that everyone hooked up with everyone, but it was just like kissing and like, I don't know, hand stuff, and nobody actually had sex. Of course I don't believe her. Of course. It's very easy to just lie about that. And like, of course I don't believe her. Of course I think that they all had sex. I think if nobody actually had sex, I don't think it would have been as big of a scandal as it actually was. So no, I don't believe that none of them actually hooked up. Then Taylor shows up and she says in the confessional that Miranda's husband is the one who came up to her and said that he had a crush on her. So Miranda's husband is allegedly the one who initiated all of the swinging. And then she also says that we're just like catching up with Taylor now, because if you don't remember, like Taylor is sort of the audience's way in. She's kind of like the audience surrogate, and I feel like she's sort of like the star of the show, kind of like how Kyle Richards is the star of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So she's doing her confessional catch up, and she says that Dakota cheated on her when they first started dating, but then he lied and he said that nothing ever happened between him and the girl. But then now that it's been like years later, he apparently confessed to her that more actually happened between him and that girl back then. I don't know what prompted this. I don't know if maybe she was still harping on it and he was like, fine, I'll finally confess. It feels weird that this would just come up years later after they had apparently put it to bed. Now we're at Jen's house, and Jen and Zach are separated, thank God. Thank God. When she said that she and Zach are separated, I said, oh, we're doing great. She is so up. But then he shows up at her house with flowers and a suitcase. And then I'm like, that happiness lasted all of about 2 seconds. He's back with flowers and a suitcase. She said that basically everything went to shit after Vegas. If you don't remember, they had a huge fight in Vegas because Zach was essentially calling her a whore for wanting to go to Magic Mike with the other mom talkers. Just so we can get my stance clear on Zach, this man is the devil. I hate him. I hate him so much. I think he is the person on reality TV that I hate the most. Nobody else even comes close. And you know I hate Dorit. And I hate this man more than I hate Dorit. I think he is pure evil. I think he represents everything that is bad about conservatism and traditional marriages. I really hate this man. I think he is an example of men at their worst. Just in case you want to know about what I think about Zach, I think he's a sexist. I think he is a bum. I think that he is like living off of Jen's money. That's like obvious. He admits it himself. He's living off of Jen's money, but then he still thinks he has the authority to tell her what to do. Absolutely pathetic. I think this guy is one of the biggest losers in America. So anyway, he's at her house. He shows up and then he asks if he can come in. He's like, can I come inside? My immediate thought was Sinners. Have you guys seen that movie yet? Where the vampires have to ask permission to enter the threshold and then they come inside and they immediately start killing everyone. That, as soon as Zach said, can I come in? I was like, girl, shut the door and get the holy water. That was so scary. I was like, you need to just say no and close the door and then this episode can end and it would be perfect. So then he comes in and he immediately like compliments her new place and he goes, I'd like it to be my new spot too. Yeah, Zach, I'm sure you would, because I'm sure the kind of place that you could afford on your own is not nearly as nice as this. So then they start sitting down and talking about their marriage. So I guess they each went to like individual therapy and maybe they tried a little couple therapy. And he tells her, he goes, I'm letting you live the life you want so you can be happy because that's what my therapist told me to do. And even just that phrasing, I'm letting you live the life you want. Like, yeah, you're able to do this right now, but it's only because I'm letting you. Immediately, I'm like, God, this guy sucks. How can you be married to this guy? And I was so proud of Jen in this conversation. She tells Zach, she goes, I'm choosing mom talk. Mom talk is important to me. And if that means that I want to go to Chippendales, then tough. I get to go to Chippendales. And immediately I'm like, yes, Jen, thank you. Like, this is everything I wanted her to do last season. Like, in this conversation, in this moment, it feels like she's finally realizing that she doesn't need a husband. Like, she is not nothing without a husband. And it's like, I feel for her because Mormonism, again, this is like info that I get from ex-Mormons on TikTok. I'm pretty sure Mormonism teaches women that they're not able to get into heaven without a husband. So it's like, of course, I don't blame Jen for the internalized misogyny that she has and like this feeling that she's supposed to let her man be her king and boss her around. It's like, I get it and it makes me feel so bad for her, but it makes me really happy in this moment that she's finally standing up to this guy. And then this confused me. So Zach says he put in his application to leave medical school and he doesn't know what he's gonna do with his life. And he's phrasing this as like a positive, like I guess he's leaving medical school so he can focus on their marriage, I guess, so he can move back to Utah. But I'm like, wait, so you're leaving medical school so you can move back to Utah and be a deadbeat stay-at-home husband? And Jen is supposed to see this as a positive? If I saw that, I'd be like, oh, so you had me pay the tuition for your first year of medical school and you're quitting? What? I'd be like, okay, yeah, you can quit. Go ahead and run me my check for the first year of tuition. Then Zach says he reached out to all of the mom talkers. And then at that moment, it cuts to like a flashback with Demi and the other girls. And she plays the voice memo that he sent her. And it's this voice memo where he's like, I'm so sorry. I never planned on any of the texts being seen. Literally, I think Demi says it herself. She's like, he's not even sorry. He's just sorry that he got caught. And it made me so happy that none of the other women fell for it and they caught that he's just being manipulative and it's not a genuine apology. I just really hope the other women can be like voices of reason for Jen in this season, because this is obviously not the last we're gonna see of Zach. I'm sure there's gonna be more drama with this marriage. Like, I just really hope that these other women can be sort of similar to the way that like Zach and Kristen are being for Brittany on the Valley. Like, just people who can be like, don't fall for this man's bullshit. Like, this guy sucks. You can do better without him. I really hope that the other women are able to advocate for Jen like that. Then Jen tells Zach that if he's gonna live with her, he needs to treat her with respect and put her feelings before his. And then she goes, I know that'll be really hard with you and your personality. Like, oh my God, these people live in hell. She wasn't even trying to say it in a sarcastic way. She just goes, listen, I need you to treat me with respect and just love me. And I know that's gonna be really hard for you. Like, she's saying it so genuinely. And I'm like, oh, that's like not normal. Like, you shouldn't marry a guy who you're like, oh, it's gonna be really hard for this guy to respect me, but I think if he really tries, he can do it. Like, these people live in hell. They actually live in hell. So then Taylor goes to Macy's house. Macy is one of the ones where it's like, I'm saying her name, but in my head, I'm trying to picture Macy, and I'm like, God, which one is Macy? Like, but anyway, Macy called the girl that Dakota cheated on Taylor with all of those years ago, and she asked for more details. Her name is Jenna. And Macy invited Jenna over to her house also so that Jenna and Taylor could get the timeline straight. And Jenna walks in with a big smile on her face. Oh, she is so happy to be on TV. She is so excited for her moment. And they're all sitting on the couch, the three of them, and she says, listen, I have so many trust issues and I have anxiety and I just want you to feel good. Like that I want to be helpful in any way that I can. And so then she takes out her phone and she shows Taylor the text between her and Dakota from when they were involved. So they're going through the texts and they're putting together a timeline. First of all, can I just say, I love when women band together like this. Like, this rocks. I'm like, yeah, if your man cheats on you with a woman who genuinely didn't know that you were together, the last person who you should be mad at is the other woman. You need to focus on the man. And it makes me so happy that Taylor is like, no, fuck Dakota. I need to talk to you, Jenna, and we need to get this straight because this guy sucks and he screwed both of us over. So as they're going through the text, Taylor realizes that Dakota at one point lied about spending the night at Jenna's place. I think Dakota told Taylor like, oh, I'm not spending the night at Jenna's place. But then Taylor found out that he actually did spend the night. And then I guess when Dakota told Taylor about this incident, he was like, oh, but we only made out. We didn't do anything. And then Jenna's like, no, we did more than making out, but we didn't have sex. That is so like, that's so Mormon. Like, oh no, we did more than making out, but we didn't have sex. It's like very high school, but it's like these are grown adults. And I really feel for Taylor at this moment. I feel like this is like a feeling that a lot of the girls have where she's like, she starts crying and she's like, you know, Dakota used to only want to see me at night, but then at the same time, he was taking you out on dates during the day. It's like, how is that supposed to make me feel? That's hurtful. That does suck. I can totally understand how that would make her feel less than, and that she's like only good for one thing, but then like Jenna is, you know, good enough to like actually take her out and like show her off during the day. It's like, that made me sad. Then Jenna said that at one point Taylor posted a TikTok with Dakota and she asked Dakota about it and he was like, oh, I'm just seeing her for clout. Like, it's nothing serious. She's just helping me grow my social media. That is evil. I'm so sorry to just straight up say like, oh, it's like not real. I'm just using her for clout. First of all, the fact that Jenna heard him say that and she still wanted to date him after that, like, I'm sorry, Jenna, you're a loser too. Because if a guy said that to me, if I was like, oh, you posted a TikTok with this girl, is anything going on with you? And he was like, oh no, babe, don't worry, nothing's going on. I'm totally just using her so I could get famous. I'd be like, oh, so you're a loser. Like, I never want to see you again. That is so lame. So the fact that Jenna still wanted to see him after that is like, okay, you kind of suck too. And then it just ends with like Taylor bawling on the couch. Like she's really, really upset by all of this. And then we just cut to Miranda and Whitney at the park. They're meeting up with their kids. And Miranda in the confessional basically says her strategy is she's going to try to win back all of the mom talkers one by one. And she invites Whitney to a happy hour that she's hosting at her house to try and see if she can get back into mom talk. Macy in the confessional says that she thinks Miranda just wants back into mom talk for money and clout. She's like, listen, she had 3 years to reach back out and she's only doing it now because she sees how successful we all are. And it's like, yeah, that is the correct take. Of course that's what it is. I feel like Miranda could not be more transparent about that. She's divorced. She's moving back to Utah. And she has like nothing pinning her down. She's just like, and then this is after season 1 of Secret Lives aired. She's like, yeah, I want in on this. I want to check. Now we're at Taylor's house. She says that she called Dakota after the meeting with Jenna and she distanced herself from him. Her mom comes over. Taylor tells us that her mom like went in to get her nose done and then she ended up getting a facelift. I'm not gonna lie, like her facelift looks fine. It's hard for me to know, like Taylor's like, oh, my mom's face is still really swollen. It's hard for me to tell. I didn't know what she looked like before. But ever since I saw Marisol's mom on The Real Housewives of Miami, facelifts scare the hell out of me. Like that botched facelift on Marisol's mom, I'm like, when I'm in my 50s and 60s, I think I'm still gonna remember that and I'm gonna be like, no, I can never get a facelift. Like, just let me look old. Then Taylor tells her mom that she feels like she fell in love with somebody who doesn't exist. And then she's telling us about her daddy issues. Apparently her biological dad left when she was really, really young. And she says she kicked Dakota out. I mean, I can see the daddy issues. I totally believe it. It's really, really sad the way that she talks about her experience meeting her dad for the first time when she was 3 and all he said to her was like, what's up, kid? Like, that's sad. I get how that can be a core memory for you and that can mess you up for life. Then Jen and Zach go to ketamine therapy. That was crazy to me. When they walked in that clinic, I was like, damn, don't you guys think you should try couples therapy first? Like, they're going straight into ketamine therapy. That was like, I was just like, man, that just feels so extreme. Like, you don't even feel like it's even worth trying couples therapy. Like, that's how you know how bad their problems are, is they need to do ketamine together to try to find love for each other again. So they get they're hooked up to the IVs for I think a really long time, like an hour. Then they get the IVs taken out and they are so high. They're both really, really high and they're just reminiscing on like when they were at their best, like when they were younger and in love. It was overall like such a weird scene, mostly just because I'm not falling for this propaganda about them. They are toxic. I don't care how much ketamine they do and how they like look at each other with their half closed eyes and be like, oh, we were in love, like, oh, everything was so good. I don't care. You still need to get a divorce. That's like final. There's nothing he can do to redeem himself in my eyes. Dakota's at Taylor's house packing his stuff up. He says he's gonna move in with a friend. And he says, he basically admits to just like lying for his own gain. He goes, when I heard that Macy called Jenna, I told Taylor that we just made out because I was trying to protect myself. He said he deleted some of their messages and he was like, oh, I was only doing it because I thought it would keep the family together. And then he's like, listen, I recognize that I lied and I was selfish, but it's just too late. And he's like turning on the waterworks. He's crying. I'm like, Dakota, you suck too. Like, you want the clout. It's like he basically admitted to Jenna all he wants from Taylor is clout. And it's like, yeah, I get it. Like, you have a son now. There's a baby involved. I'm sure he loves his son. But it's like, the tears aren't moving me. I'm like, you suck. You're also a bad guy. And Taylor would be better off without you. And maybe it would just behoove all of you to learn how to co-parent. We end the episode at Miranda's happy hour. And she says that one of the reasons she wants to rejoin Mom Talk is that she's a single mom now and she needs community. I think that she is primarily a community-driven gal, like, no, I do think that this is primarily about clout for her. However, I do understand that she is a part of a religion, again, where it puts men on a pedestal and your entire life is supposed to be about your husband. And of course, naturally, that is going to isolate you from your friends. That is the purpose of it, is to isolate you from your friends. So now that she's divorced, I'm sure that she kind of looked around and she was like, wait a minute, I don't have any friends. Like, I don't have anybody. So it's like, I do believe that that would be a bonus for her, but of course it's still about clout at the end of the day. And then like they show her little charcuterie setup and she made a cheese spread where there are little pieces of cheese on toothpicks that spell out Mom Talk. Girl, try to be more subtle. It's like, I'm kind of rooting for you. Whatever. I don't care if you're back in Mom Talk. Get back in Mom Talk. But can you try to be like a little less obvious about it? Like, try not to be so desperate. It comes off as so desperate. And Michaela actually calls it desperate in the confessional too. I feel like maybe so far she's my favorite. I feel like she has all the best takes so far. Whitney shows up and it's like, so this whole thing is so awkward. It's giving like middle school dance. It's kind of like just 8 women standing around in a living room. There's no music playing. Just 8 women standing around in silence, like eating off of toothpicks. And then Whitney shows up, and Michaela says that their friendship seems phony and they're just trauma bonded over leaving Mom Talk. I mean, trauma bond is like a strong word. Do I think they have trauma for leaving Mom Talk? No. But do I think that Whitney is an easy person for Miranda to form an alliance with? Yes, because they are both in the same place socially in this friend group right now. Then Jen goes over and talks to Whitney, and she says she doesn't know if she can trust anyone after what happened with Vegas. And I was like, wait, what? Like, what is she talking about? And apparently she reached out to the group chat, the Mom Talk group chat, after everything went down with Zach when they were like yelling and crying in Vegas about Chippendales. And she asked the girls not to like talk to the media or stir the pot until she could figure everything out with Zach. And apparently nobody responded to her. Like, they all just left her on red. That's like really weird to me. I don't know if you're Jen's friend. I don't know why you wouldn't respond to her and just be like, yeah, of course, I won't. So that is, it's like, I do kind of get her. It's like she went through this insanely traumatic experience in Vegas, like yelling and screaming at her husband, crying, him basically calling her a slut and telling her she's a bad wife, and none of your friends are gonna reach out to you for support. I would also be questioning. I get it. Then the girls all sit down in the living room to have a chat, and Michaela just calls it out. She goes, honestly, this all feels fake, and I have questions about what you said about the swinging couples only making out and doing nothing more than that. She's like, I kind of don't believe that. And then Taylor, I think Taylor isn't there yet. I think she's only just getting there, or maybe she is sitting on the couch, but she got there a little late. But in the confessional, she's like, it is just so frustrating seeing Miranda lie. And then the episode ends. I would love if the central drama this season was between Taylor and Miranda. I do not want to see Zach on my screen at all. If the central drama is between Jen and Zach, I'm going to lose my mind. I do not want to see that man. But it's like with this fight between Taylor and Miranda, of course I'm on Taylor's side. I don't believe for a second that nobody had sex in that swinging scandal. Of course they had sex. Like, I don't believe Taylor for a second. I think Taylor's trying to save face with the Mormon community. Or no, I don't believe Miranda for a second. I think Miranda's trying to save face with the Mormon community. And I think Taylor just doesn't care. Taylor's already been through so much. She was like arrested for domestic violence. I think she spent some time in jail, and now she has a kid with Dakota. Like, she doesn't, the Mormon community is like the last of her concerns right now. But that was the premiere. Overall, great. I miss this show so much. I can't wait to watch more episodes. It just bothered, I hate a batch release. I want a week to week. I think this show is good enough where they could do a week to week release. I think because they haven't, I'm gonna maybe just do like 2 episodes at a time. Or maybe if there's one episode that's like really, really juicy, I'll give it its own video. But I think the most efficient way to do this would be 2 episodes at a time. If you missed it, I uploaded recaps of last week's episodes of The Valley and Summer House, so you could check those out on the channel right now. And I will also have recaps of this week's episodes coming out soon in the next couple days. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.